Hey guys, how are you? So I sort of wanted to talk about the campaigns right now and where they were at, because a lot of people are saying that the polls are rigged. And when I look at something like the enthusiasm that the Trump campaign has, whether it's the turnout of his rallies or the rallies that people have had on their own, the boat parades, the car parades, I even see it here in LA, everywhere, and just the enthusiasm behind the Trump campaign compared to the Biden campaign. We see he doesn't really get much of a turnout. His supporters just don't seem very enthused. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, because when you take that into account and then you look at the poll numbers, they sort of don't add up, because the polls still have Biden ahead by a lot. Most of the polls do. Now, we did talk about the Democracy Institute poll the other week, and I brought that one up specifically. That poll was actually saying that Trump had it by a large amount. And the reason I brought up that one was because that poll accurately predicted Brexit. That poll accurately predicted the 2016 win by Trump, when everyone else was saying that he wasn't going to win. So I'm curious to know your thoughts about that. But before we talk about that too much, I have a few fun clips I want to show you. So we have a clip from the Biden campaign, a little fun clip from Jim Acosta, who is currently at in Florida at the MAGA rally waiting for President Trump to start. And then I have some audio from the interview that Trump gave with Rush Limbaugh. They brought up something interesting, and I wanted to know your thoughts on that as well. But first, let's check into the Biden campaign and see what's going on over there.
You know, we have to come together. That's why I'm running. I'm running as a proud Democrat for the Senate.
As long as that man gets elected into Senate, we're going to be okay as a country. But I'm sorry, I just had to show you that. That was, I believe, today on the Biden campaign. So they're doing well. He doesn't know exactly what he's running for, but that's totally fine. But that video is actually going to tie into what we're going to talk about as far as the interview with Rush and Trump. But first, let's go down to Florida. We'll call him our MAGA rally correspondent, Jim Acosta. Let's go see what's going on there.
But Iowa and North Carolina are really states that should be in the bag for President Trump right now. That's an indication as to how much trouble he's in politically right now, Wolf. And as this crowd is chanting that there are members of the press here who suck, I should also point out, Wolf, what also sucks, getting the coronavirus.
Just in case you didn't catch it, they were chanting, CNN sucks. I just had to throw that in there for fun. But on a more serious note, I want to play you this clip from the Rush interview that Trump gave. And if you've been paying attention, Nancy Pelosi, her recent obsession has been with the 25th Amendment. And she started talking about this when Trump announced that he contracted COVID the other week. And everyone was talking about this as her latest desperate attempt to get Trump out of office, because we know that's what she loves to do. I think it's a hobby of hers, just ways she can get Trump out of office. But in this interview, they bring up a different point to this whole thing as to why this might be something that she's been talking about or looking into. So I'm going to play you that, and then we'll talk.
Well, let's assume the Democrats are going to vote for Sleepy Joe, which is ridiculous, because Joe shouldn't be a candidate. Joe's in no condition to be a candidate.
Well,
we can say it nicely, or we can say it badly. The 25th Amendment that crazy Nancy's playing around with, she's gone crazy. She's a nut job. But this 25th Amendment, I think they put it in so they can get Kamala in replacement.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's a trial run to see if they can kick Biden out of it. That's exactly right, sir. It's not aimed at you.
That was the first thing I thought of. And by the way, the Republicans have been really very good to me.
So you can see President Trump and Rush agrees. They think that Nancy Pelosi has this obsession with the 25th Amendment, because if Biden gets elected, they are going to use that to remove him from office and put Kamala Harris in the driver's seat. Yikes. So what do you guys think about that? And again, the whole point of this was, yes, to bring that up, but I'm just curious, do you think there is a discrepancy in how this election is actually going to turn out in the polls? Again, when I see the enthusiasm, I mean, you saw how many people were at that rally, and it was just actually, no, that was still going to happen. But you see how many people are at his rallies and just out every single weekend, how he's basically backed by every single police union and probably every single officer, first responder in this country, because he's been on the side of law and order. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think there's a discrepancy? I also, just knowing how unlikable Kamala Harris is, I mean, after the primary debates, when she was still trying to be in the running to be the president, her numbers were atrocious. And even in that debate, Tulsi Gabbard just crushed her. And I think that might have been a really big mistake for the Democratic Party, is sort of shunning Tulsi as much as they did, because Kamala Harris is a lot more radical than she is, and I think that Tulsi would have been really good for the moderate Democrat. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think the polls are accurate? Do you think the Biden is actually way ahead of President Trump? Let me know. And then what do you think about the 25th Amendment? All right. Thank you, guys.